And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Wednesday, May 8th. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. Well, a developing story on a heavily traveled bridge. The Roosevelt Bridge over Lake Texoma is shut down after a semi-truck crashed and was left partially hanging off the side of the bridge. Now, this is a story we've been following all morning long. Fortunately, there is no reported injuries, but Oklahoma Highway Patrol Captain Scott Hampton says crews are inspecting the bridge and repairing the guardrail. As you just saw in those videos, the bridge is expected to be closed for most of the day. Now, drivers needing to get across will have to find an alternate route. A Gainesville man is headed to prison after pleading guilty to child sex abuse charges. 50-year-old Jesus Matata was indicted last August for indecency with a child. The abuse reportedly happened last April, and the victim was under the age of 17. Matata pled guilty on Friday and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Two Ardmore men are charged with running a drug house near an elementary school. Court records show 30-year-old Curtis Heminger and 29-year-old Rocky Stewart are accused of selling meth at a house on 3rd Avenue Southeast. That house is less than 2,000 feet from Jefferson Elementary. Records show glass pipes and scales were also found in the house. Now, if convicted on all charges, the two men could face up to life in prison. Well, turning to weather now, meteorologist Brian Briggs is joining us. Brian, it was another hot, humid, and windy morning, but what can we be expecting for our Wednesday afternoon?
Most of us probably will remain hot, humid, and windy here at least through the next couple hours. Cold front, though, knocking on the doorstep of Texoma even as we speak. So, yeah, we're looking at our temperatures here, and they are pretty warm. Most of us in the 80s, some of us knocking on the door to 90 degrees. So, yeah, it is quite toasty out there, to say the least. In addition, it is excruciatingly humid, although we are starting to see a little bit of humidity values dropping near the I-35 corridor, or just to the west, I should say. But 70-degree dew points, that is not pleasant at all, and it actually is pretty oppressive, and especially once the temperatures get in the 90s. Could be a little dangerous, so be very careful, stay hydrated out there. Wind-wise, too, it is incredibly breezy with that southwesterly wind, slowly trying to switch to the north and west as that front approaches. So we are doing a weather alert for some of us here heading into this afternoon along the Highway 69-75 corridor in particular, and these thunderstorms will be responsible for mainly some damaging winds and some hail. So we're going to break all the details down on what you need to know when those storms move in here in just a little bit. Until then, back to you, Kylie.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, with all the rain over the past couple of weeks, engineers at Lake Texoma are working diligently to manage flood risk. Lake Manager Jake Ellison with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says Lake Texoma is currently several feet above normal. He says they have to try and balance the inflow and release of water from the dam to reduce the impact of flooding for those upstream and downstream. Now, as of right now, Ellison says there's still slightly more water coming in than coming out. But in the next few days, they expect that the Lake Texoma will crest and that everything will start to even out once again. Now, if we do get more rain, Ellison says they will continue working with their hydrologist and adjust the game plan accordingly. Now, going over to Sulphur, Oklahoma, where school was back in session yesterday for the Bulldogs, but the rest of the school year will look a little different for high schoolers. Superintendent Matt Holder says due to water damage, Sulphur high schoolers will be virtual learning for the remainder of the year. He says he wants that transition to be as seamless as possible, and fortunately, high school teachers and students already have a virtual platform set up.
We've got obviously graduation coming up next week, and one of our big goals was to be able to not impact any of those senior week activities that we have for our seniors, and I think we've got that done.
Even though the school won't be open for classes, Holder says they're still serving lunch and breakfast to high school kids, and teachers will be available at the school to help students who need it. Voters have approved the Tioga Schools bond package totaling more than $26 million. The bond will move $6 million of the high school facility's existing debt from the maintenance and operations side of the budget. The switch will raise taxes by 14 cents per $100 valuation. The bond will end up saving the district money over the 5-year period. The Dennison City Council approved 3 budget amendments proposed by the Dennison Development Alliance. The 3 items pertain to the former JM plant, the future home for the Dennison Development Alliance, and the industrial park on TX91. For the redevelopment of the JM plant, the DDA approved an additional $2.8 million to remove a concrete pad for the future owners. The second budget amendment for $310,000 will turn the former Chase Motor Bank downtown into the DDA's new office. And the third budget amendment for $335,000, this will help construct a road on Dennison Industrial Park on TX91, which will serve 2 future suppliers. Theranos founder, now convicted felon Elizabeth Holmes is now having more time cut from her prison sentence. The Bureau of Prisons website now shows 4 months have been shaved off her time, with an updated release date of August of 2032. Holmes was originally ordered to serve more than 11 years behind bars after her conviction on 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy. She is serving at Federal Prison Camp Bryan in Texas. Holmes already had 2 years slashed off her sentence last summer. And now to yesterday's explosive testimony in former President Trump's so-called hush money trial. Adult film star Stormy Daniels took the stand and gave what was at times very salacious details of her alleged sexual encounter with Trump nearly 2 decades ago. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to hide payments made to Daniels to keep her silent ahead of the 2016 election. Now, Trump denies the affair and has pleaded not guilty to the charges. CBS News' Jared Hill has more on how the day unfolded from New York.
A very revealing day.
Former President Donald Trump due back in court tomorrow for day 2 of potentially explosive testimony from adult film star Stormy Daniels in his Manhattan criminal case. Under oath on the witness stand yesterday, Daniels recalled the details of their alleged 2006 sexual encounter, which Trump has denied. Daniels testified that Trump invited her to his hotel suite in Lake Tahoe. She said she asked Trump about his wife, Melania, and he said, quote, "Don't worry about it. We actually don't sleep in the same room." Daniels also said she wanted to share her story 10 years later, but was afraid, adding that she took the $130,000 payment from Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to stay quiet.
Everything in this case is designed to get to Michael Cohen's testimony. He is really the only person that we know of who could give direct evidence about Donald Trump's involvement.
In cross-examination, Trump's lawyers questioned Daniels' motives, asking if she hates the former president, to which she responded yes. They asked if she wants Trump to go to jail. Her response, if he's found guilty, absolutely.
This whole case is just a disaster.
Trump seemed visibly frustrated during Daniels' testimony, which drew multiple objections from his lawyers. The defense asked for mistrial, accusing prosecutors of trying to embarrass the former president. The judge denied the motion, but acknowledged, quote, "There were some things that are probably better left unsaid." Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
There were also new developments in former President Trump's Florida federal case regarding the alleged mishandling of classified materials at his Mar-a-Lago home. Judge Aileen Canyon announced that she is officially postponing the trial indefinitely. Now, it was originally scheduled to begin later this month. And South by Southwest is heading across the pond. The annual Austin, Texas festival is launching an edition in London. South by Southwest London will feature a mix of showcases for TV and film, music, digital innovations, and gaming. It will also focus on visual arts, design, fashion, and immersive experiences. London's mayor says this is an historic opportunity for the city. The festival will take place in June of 2025. Tickets are set to go on sale in October. South by Southwest launched its first international offshoot last year in Sydney, Australia. CBS News has confirmed the U.S. has postponed delivery of some weapons to Israel, with one senior administration official saying the U.S. is concerned Israel will drop the bombs on Rafah. Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
Israel released video Wednesday showing what it says are its soldiers inside Rafah. The Pentagon says so far Israel is conducting a very limited operation inside the southern Gaza city to cut off Hamas's access to weapons and money. The White House is pressuring Israel to not launch a major invasion of Rafah, Hamas's last remaining stronghold in Gaza. A senior administration official confirms to CBS News a U.S. shipment of weapons containing thousands of bombs was paused last week over concerns that Israel will use them in Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians are sheltering from the war.
They have said, I think quite clearly, it's no secret that they want to conduct a major military operation there. We have made clear that we oppose such an operation.
Some civilians in Rafah are packing up their belongings with the threat of a larger Israeli operation. This man says it's the 4th time he's been forced to flee. The U.S. is involved in ongoing talks to reach a ceasefire that includes the release of hostages. CIA Director Bill Burns is scheduled to meet today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. An Israeli official says it's keeping its negotiators in Egypt for talks, but sees no signs of a breakthrough with Hamas. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Thank you for watching today's News 12 Now. Make sure to subscribe so you find out why Texoma turns to us. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see more social media exclusive content. Want more News 12 Now? Watch us live every weekday through the KXII app on your phone or TV and through our website.